Hello, everyone. Welcome to Swamp Goblin Mysteries. This is a free one-page TTRPG by Janice Newman, aka Wizard Styles. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. We are going to be solving mysteries, and we are goblins. I am your host for today, and I would love to introduce everyone who's here at the table. Please welcome all of our guests, and we'll start with Souza. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and maybe tell us a little bit about your goblin.
Hi, I'm Andrew or Souza. I am mostly found on guest streams and Melanin Mythos, which is an all BIPOC world building podcast. And my goblin I'm playing today is Koya. He's the long goblin of our group. He's a very boyish, kind of goofy guy. And that's me.
Thank you so much. And we'll hop on over to Ran.
Hi, my name is Ran. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Blue Sky at Burdick Inspiration or Rhino Riddler anywhere else. I am a theater director by trade, and it's been really exciting getting into this. My goblin, her name is Baby Blue, and this here is Despero. And don't let her size fool you. He once scared of a crow with one single squeak in C sharp. We're just traveling mouse blobs, lovers of lullabies and lunchtime. I like you already, unless you hate music or rats, in which case, please change.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, we have Bardic Pro.
Hi, my name's Naomi. I also go by Bardic Pro. You can mostly find me on Twitch, where I do video game streaming usually, but occasionally I dip into TTRPGs like this. I am playing Mooney, a they/them little guy who loves to hoard and forage things, from mushrooms to expensive things that I steal from other people. Because is it really stealing if I found it? Uh, that's that's basically it. That's my whole character.
Excellent. And I'm still Luna. You know me. Today I'm going to be playing Rosie, a they, any little guy as well. And all you need to know is Rosie is a bona fide investigator, and they have an expert tool. It is called the poker, and it's a very long stick. And they have an obsession with trying to figure out if things have things inside of them. So there is a lot of breaking of stuff, which would be definitely not a problem whatsoever, I think. But without further ado, I would love to introduce our game master and also the creator of this game, Wizard Styles.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Wizard Styles with Janice, whatever, he, him. And yeah, I wrote this game. It's pretty much a product of me working on another game, which is called Junior Detectives, and is in turn based on Brindlewood Bay, which you might know. It's a game of old ladies solving murder mysteries. We'll get to the murder mystery in a minute. I did that while simultaneously GMing a D&D campaign where everybody was playing a goblin. So the wires crossed, and I ended up with a one-page RPG of goblins solving mysteries in the most goblinish way possible. And that's what we're going to do today. We have a murder mystery on our hands. But first, you can download the game on itch.io. Link is in chat already. Thanks, Stella. It is entirely free. So, boost my numbers, I guess. But also, it is free, and hopefully it's fun. Anyway, today we will meet our 4 goblin sleuths at Fenville Manor. The Fenville estate is currently in disarray. Lady Mallow, the matriarch of the family, has been found murdered. And no fewer than 3 wills of dubious origin have shown up, listing the children of Lady Mallow, one called Juniper, the other Jasmine, and also the gardener, Jasper, as sole inheritors each. You arrive on the day of the wake. The body of Lady Mallow is on display. But you are not here to pay your respects. Or maybe you are. Maybe you are very respectful goblins. But mainly you are here to solve a mystery. And yeah, I wonder what attracted you to this mystery. How did you hear of it? So, Baby Blue, what brought you here today specifically? Or have you maybe
I
heard of? Okay, all right.
I didn't know there was going to be something sad. I just knew that there is an old house here, and I'm looking for songs. Not the normal kind, even. It's just there's always a song hiding inside other things, and this place has them. Creaky drawers, hollow bones, keys. What was the question?
Oh, well, I was wondering why you're here to solve a murder, but maybe that was a bit premature of me.
Oh,
And you do hear
right.
music,
Murder. Murder is bad.
correct? Is anybody here who knew about the murder before arriving here? No?
No, I think Rosie just goes wherever the stick points.
Mooney's primarily here for the estate sale part, to gather items.
Right. Well, you'll have to contend with a few people that are looking to inherit it, but things go missing during the wake, probably, surely. Um,
Once we found the murderer, Despero is going to fight them.
well, yeah. I have every yeah. I trust Despero's ability fully, of course. Koya, is it correct maybe to say that you are the most knowledgeable of the goblins gathered here? What do you know about the Fenville family then? What has marked them as kind of this old money family among goblins for generations? Or
Well, what do
maybe
you think, Koya? You're the tallest. You can see what's up high.
Um, have a lot of stuff here. A really nice garden. Um, I'd love to venture over there.
Garden. That's where the reeds can make music, and also I heard that that is a good place to bury dead bodies if we can find murderers here.
Are we planning to murder the murderer?
No, 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 no. But maybe the murderer will hide out here behind the flower bush, and maybe we can pick a flower and turn it into a flute.
Yeah, that sounds good.
You see Rosie turning in the direction of the flower bushes, and her little knuckles get white as she grips her stick in a very knowing gesture, but she holds on for now.
Hold the investigation back. Wait a minute. Not yet.
Not yet.
It's not
Warming
time.
up.
I think Mooney's kind of like picking around at things. and is kind of noticing there seems to be things missing. There's little like dust marks where stuff used to be. I don't
Hmm.
know if that's normal, but I want to know the things. It must be valuable stuff if somebody took it.
Ah, yes. Well, you're looking around. It appears you have ventured into the entrance hall of the Fenville estate already. It's rather full at the moment. There are people here coming to pay their respects to the deceased Lady Mallow. A few goblins, most of them you don't know, they are not local. They seem to have come from other estates of the old goblin nobility. You are, however, approached by a man whose very elegant black suit and entire demeanor marks him as the butler of the place. So if you want to snoop around, you will have to, get somebody to run interference here. Anyway, he's approaching. Who looks the most lost of you? I have a feeling I know who that would be, but who looks the most out of place in this estate?
It's usually me, I think.
That is my money's on.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was kind of feeling that would be it. Yeah. Yes, you are approached by the butler. If you knew his name, you would know him as Mr. Moorcock. He walks up to you, clears his
Hello.
throat. Good day, my young friend. Is there something I can do to help you? You appear rather, I would almost say, lost. If you wish to
Uh,
pay your respect. Oh, sorry, go
I'm
right
never
ahead.
I'm never lost. I heard the walls hum. Did you hear it?
Oh, pardon me. I can't say I have heard the walls hum. You might. Well, occasionally the floorboards are creaking a little bit, and we've had people move a few things around, of course, to make room for the wake. And
And it was
perhaps.
so beautiful. The sound it makes when you're moving the furniture across the floorboards, like a symphony made of memories. And you say people are paying respect for the dead?
Oh,
I would love to
yes.
help. Can you help me find things that make noise? And maybe I can help that way. And have you met Despero? He is the best percussionist and helper of all things. Anything will
Um,
do. I can make music out of ghost wind, through creaky floorboards, any cursed music boxes, spoons, broken cups, whatever that can sing back to you when you touch them gently.
oh, that sounds rather lovely. We already have, I think, well, we have an, a string
Are you
quartet booked.
are you okay?
Oh, well, I am a little bit distraught, of course, losing my employer of many years here. But I'm also, I did not expect a freelance musician to show up and request to be hired like that. It's rather forward, I must say, but
Oh, you don't have to hire me. I'm offering any help I can offer. You must be feeling so sad. I'm sorry
um,
for your
I,
loss, but just know that whenever the floorboards sing back to you, it is your employer's memories.
oh, well, I would rather hope we don't have a haunting here. The rumors about the old place are bad enough as it is, but uh, well,
The haunting is just those who we lost coming back to say hello. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, certainly, if they are lovely people like our dearly departed Miss Mallow, I would rather not see the ghost of old Lord Boggleton again. He was a right red bastard. But anyway, if you wish to join the musical arrangements for this wake, then we do have, like I said, a string quartet, but well, they seem to be delayed. If you would, certainly the stage, as it were, and there is a little kind of elevated platform
You see, Baby
somewhere.
Blue kind of looks almost excited, which is very rare as an expression on her face. But because she normally just looks kind of sleepy and dazed, and then she flickers between extreme excitement and like daydream, like sleepwalking kind of vibe. Will kind of just like walk away from the butler and start walking towards the stage and basically starts like plucking away the little strings on the lute that she has made out of plant matters and moss and everything else. But as she's kind of doing that, she'll also look down onto like Despero was kind of resting on her shoulder and would just say, "There's been a great tragedy in these halls. Can you help me find out who smells guilty?"
Okay. Well, rats have that sense of smell, certainly. So
And
are you
yeah, just
just kind
said,
of walking around playing music and Despero is darting off back and forth, just sniffing on people?
yeah.
um, is that a move already? To
Um,
find a clue, perhaps?
hopefully it could be a move
All
to
right.
kind of read, like I think flavoring as a sense of smell, but in a way it's almost like using instinct to assess like if there is anybody who seems a little twitchy, who seems that they're
Yeah.
hiding something.
Absolutely, yeah. Um, mhm. So, explanation for everybody watching. If you this game essentially has a single resolution mechanic, which is you roll two six-sided dice. If you roll at least a 7, that means you have a mixed success. Higher results are even better. And you can use a move to either get past an obstacle or find a clue. Clues are used later to formulate theories. We'll get to that. And I think for now we're looking for a clue here.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could use her people skill,
Yeah.
essentially doing a vibe check,
Mhm.
which
And
would
you
be
have a
cool.
rat, which
Yeah.
can give you advantage where rats are helpful, and we've established rats have great sense of smell, and you are asking the rat for help. So that would mean instead of rolling 2d6 as per usual, you roll 3d6 and drop the lowest results. Or
Excellent.
result.
First roll hype. Yay.
Yeah.
All right, so I rolled the higher rolls are 9 total, plus 2 will be 11 with cool.
Yeah. So you simply succeed. You just get a clean success, no extra benefits, but also no blowback of any kind. So Despero just darts back and forth between people. You also pick up on things, and you notice a few things. I would say the first is the butler, who you just talked to, Mr. Moorcock, is, well, nervous as well as seemingly distraught. That is something that you pick up on. And then there are a few people that you and Despero sniff out together. These are an incredibly richly green goblin in, you would say, rather lower class attire if you were one of the noble guests here, but to all of you, he just looks like a regular guy. And then there are two very well-dressed younger goblins. You might know them as Juniper and Jasmine, the children of the late Lady Mallow. And what unites all three of these is a smell that Despero also detects on the body of the deceased. We won't get into why Despero was sniffing on the body there. I needed that right now. I needed that to give you the clue. But yeah, all of them smell like something poisonous.
Something is rotten in the estate of Goblinville.
Of Goblin, yeah.
Rosie is probably somewhere in the foyer, and as this is going on, they are going to start opening doors.
Mhm.
Namely, to look for something to break. But Rosie understands the concept of doors and will open them because there's usually stuff inside of them already.
Right.
Here.
See, this is where I would like to ask another question of you to paint the scene. It would appear that Lady Mallow was perhaps a bit of an eccentric old lady with a few interesting collections. What kind of strange objects do you find here?
So the first door that Rosie opens is probably intended to be a coat closet, but instead there is an oversized rocking horse. And it appears that it's kind of plush. It's got cushion mounted onto the wooden bones of it. And the plush is made out of vintage, recycled, of course, as goblin folk are meant to do, recycled fabric that might have been part of a grand couch at one point. So it's very luxurious. It is a prime example of a rocking horse that is befitting of an estate like this.
Right.
Rosie pokes it with the poker.
The rocking horse starts rocking.
I think Koya is like right behind Rosie in more of the sense like doesn't like crowds or like groups of people, so he's like, you're going somewhere else that's not where all the people are. I'll follow you. And it's just steady, just looming over, sort of behind, like watching the rocking chair.
I like to imagine that Rosie's like half your height, so you can easily see everything that Rosie's doing. And Rosie's just like, poke.
Yeah.
Poke.
And it's rocking back and forth, begging for somebody to just sit on there.
Do you think that the lady could get up there, or like that someone had to lift them onto the rocking horse? It seems rather big.
It is rather big. You see Rosie takes the poker into two hands and bashes it. And is going to try to see if there's anything inside of the rocking horse.
Okay. This will attract attention, of course. But if you succeed on the roll here, then you will get away before somebody sees that it was you who did it. I think this is clearly a vitality roll, unless you disagree.
I love it. Vitality it is. My vitality
Yeah.
is a +2.
Right. So for the viewers, goblins have 3 stats. One of them is vitality, the other is smarts, and then we have cool. Cool is for being calm under pressure and talking to people. And those are added to the regular dice rolls. So Stella's rolling 2d6 plus 2.
Okay, I got 5, a 3, and then +2 is a 10.
Also a 10. You succeed. You said that this rocking horse was upholstered with something that is not normally, the material you would expect. What do you think could be hidden inside there? Is there maybe even a hidden compartment, or is there just something that was left there?
I like to think that perhaps this upholstery job was done during the time of the Lord and Lady's occupation here. So perhaps there's a secret letter hidden away inside of it. No one would look inside of this old, dusty rocking horse that's way too big for any old goblin. Well, perhaps it's Koya sized. I imagine Koya could comfortably
Yeah.
climb on top. But you
Right.
see, like, as Rosie's just bashing the rocking horse, the cushion near its head, the seam splits open and a letter, an envelope sticks out.
Yeah, you see this wilted, yellowed envelope just sticking out. You probably hit it once or twice before you fully realize that there's actually something there.
I like to think that Rosie doesn't even see it. Rosie just continues bashing the horse.
I think Koya like reaches over and just grabs the letters and slowly pulls. This might be important.
Right. And what you find there is, it is a letter. And the letter reads, well, what you actually find is not a normal letter, I think. But you know how there have been 3 different last wills and testaments of Lady Fenville? What you have found appears to be the seal of it is ever so slightly broken by the poker, but what you have found is the actual last will and testament of Lady Fenville. And
I think Koya wants to read it, but immediately tucks it in like his shirt pocket and says, I don't think I should do that here. We should get out of here before people come to figure out what we are doing, because it was pretty loud.
yeah, you managed to scan it and see that, oh, yeah, this lists who the estate and the wealth of the Fenville family are going to. But then you also hear footsteps. It's like, oi, what's going on there? And it's definitely your time to leave and unfortunately say goodbye to the ongoing destruction of the rocking horse here.
If Koya starts to leave, Rosie will just and then come and follow.
Yeah. And because you just rolled a clean success, you just get away. You do see the local police man, Constable Gunk, just waddling towards you, but too slow to fully see who you are and catch up to you.
Well, I think Mooney's in the same vein, except like instead of opening doors, they're just sifting through drawers. So like if there's like a big armoire, just like opening all the drawers, mostly because they're small anyway, so they can't like reach up high. So yeah, they're gonna sniff around some drawers and see if they can find anything of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first of what I can say is you find a lot more just stuffed animals, wood carvings of animals, and so on. More horses, alligators, possums feature prominently. Somebody here is or was a bit of a collector. And maybe these things belong to you now.
Yeah, I just like anything that's small enough to fit in my pockets. I'm just like, take,
Mhm.
take. I have a little possum now. Take.
Yeah. But you can also make a move to maybe find a clue here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Is that a smarts?
I would say so, yeah. You could also make an argument for cool because you're trying to do this undetected, I think.
I will stick with smarts because my
All
smarts is
right,
2
yeah.
and my cool is 0.
All
So
right.
big old
Yeah.
goose egg, gang. Oh, that's gonna be 10 also. Yeah.
Okay. What room are you in again?
I was in the like front hall, but if
Right.
there's not enough stuff in there, then I would have tried to like find a side room that
Yeah.
had stuff in it.
I think you just wandered off then and somehow undetected made your way up to the floor where first the ladies' master bedroom would be. But you're currently just in some kind of sitting or reading room. There are many of them. When you have a big estate like that, eventually you just fill rooms with sofas and shelves. And what you find is, well, you keep looking through the arranged little guys here. Not little guys as in you, but little guys as in little possums, horses, and so on. And one of them won't really budge. It seems to be worked into the drawer that you're currently investigating, and then you realize it can be turned. And you figure out that when you turn its head towards one of the walls, you hear some grinding of stones behind the bookshelves there. And it seems you found a secret passage.
Ooh. Okay. Um I'll like notice that this has happened and like realize I'm somewhat by myself, so I kind of like scamper, but like I have like a kind of big body, and so I'm just kind of like waddling down the stairs, and I'm like, guys, there's more area for more stuff. There's a secret area with more stuff. No one's gonna take the stuff. It's secret. I found it. We can go look.
Right. I'm going to say everybody was just in the right spot to hear that.
See
Gotta rally the
Rosie just
troops.
like running into the room.
I think I follow there too.
Yeah. The secret passage is almost fully open. It may need just a little nudge or knock from the poker to just fully open, but it's yeah. It is
No
not fully open.
hesitation. Just like a sixth sense just activates. Rosie,
Yeah.
knowing something needs to get smacked, just starts hitting it.
Right. And you hear the grinding behind the bookshelves a little more. Also, a few books fall out. Maybe they have collector's value to Mooney. Maybe not. But you do see the secret passage there, and you can definitely tell already that it would probably go to the master bedroom, but maybe also somewhere else.
I'm down to take it.
Yeah. So in the secret passage, which is itself a clue but can also be investigated further, you see that it leads to 2 more bedrooms. And just very quickly, maybe in one sentence, Mooney, one of the bedrooms looks like they belong to somebody who is a bit chaotic, maybe not entirely on board with the noble lifestyle. What do you find that makes you think that, yeah, this is somebody that definitely sneaks out and has some fun in Goblinville instead of just staying here all the time?
I think that it's normal for like windowsills to be disturbed, like the dust on them to be disturbed, because like opening the windows to let in air is like a very common thing to do. But in this particular room, I think the window has some scuff marks of like shoes, indicating that someone has climbed out of and into that window, which is more abnormal.
Yeah. And another room that you find is another bedroom. This one, I would say that Rosie sees it first because it looks so very smashable, full of delicate things. Just everything is so elegant. And what makes you think that, in contrast to the one before, this is of a person who is like all the way just, yes, I am a noble goblin.
Rosie just sort of stops moving and looks up at Koya, almost like testing, almost slightly like asking for permission, but mostly just seeing if someone else is watching Rosie right now.
Despero is watching Rosie.
Yeah. Koya looks at the stuff and says, if the plan is to do what we did to the rocking horse, to the stuff in this room, we may gather more attention than we want. Maybe some things we can meet like halfway, 50-50, break some things, not everything.
At this, Rosie begins to book it into the room and then smashes one, skips a thing, smashes another thing, skips a thing, and then smashes another thing. And we'll begin investigating inside this room.
Okay. By smashing.
By smashing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You just smash things and grab whatever you can find. And I think, particularly because you're trying to do this quickly, this is another vitality or also cool roll.
My cool is 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright. Okay, that's a 6 plus a 3 plus 2. That is 11.
Okay, that's another clean success. Again, you face no consequences for your destructive urges.
This is setting such a dangerous precedent.
Yeah. And you you hit something that isn't easily smashed because it's a book, unfortunately. It's coated in crystals, so those just blast off in every direction. But yeah, underneath that is a little diary. And the last page just, as if directed by fate, flips open and details the sordid kind of affair between the gardener of the estate, Jasper, and Juniper, one of the children of Lady Mallow, the younger child. And what you found is the diary of the other child, Jasmine, who does not approve of this unbecoming mingling with the lower class. And it ends with, "Oh, good heavens, I must tell mother soon."
Ooh. Rosie doesn't read.
Well,
Rosie
that's what. Yeah, well, that's what I would say if Rosie would read.
Rosie just like smashes it. It bounces so hard that it flips open to a page, and then Rosie turns, skips a teacup, smashes another teacup, and just kind of runs away from the open book. Hopefully somebody else is looking. Well, Despero was watching.
If nobody else does, then Despero will come in to rescue you here and just carry the book that is as heavy as he is away.
It's a strong mouse.
That's so
Right, so-
juicy, though.
Does Baby Blue read?
Yeah. She reads sheet music at the very least.
Right. So is Baby Blue fully paying attention, or is she just enraptured by the music that
I think
the smashing
it's
of
all
everything
going-
just made?
It's all going in. I think she's actually kind of very enraptured by everything that's going on, and Despero is bringing up this page, and she's sort of still strumming her little apple lute and singing little the lady drank her evening tea with roses red and honeybee, but in the brew was something mean, and now she sleeps below. Butler stands with trembling chin, a stain of guilt upon his skin. He says he served but didn't see the teacup start to glow. And sort of incorporate like the information that she
Mhm.
like glanced at the book, and then she doesn't really understand what's going on, but it's all going into the song. And
Yeah.
Despero will kind of like he understands when inspiration hits, when muses hit. Baby Blue is going to like launch into that, and Despero is going to take that information and like see the reaction of the possibly guilty party, see what's happening.
Yeah. I was so caught off guard by the actual song that you.
That was amazing. Oh my god. Clap, clap, clap.
What do you think happens next? Because I'm just okay.
I think she's kind of going back towards the direction of where Jasper and Juniper was last found, to try to ask them some questions for one, and but will pause and like admire the sheer symphony that is created by the smashing of teacups and other fragile housewares.
Right. Just a last thing. As you go, you notice that there is the last exit of this hidden passageway, which leads out to the gardens. You know that Jasper is the gardener. If that hasn't been said to you in character yet, the butler just dropped it. And it's also in the diary. So maybe you will find Jasper there, but he was also at the wake downstairs. So where do you think you'll find him?
I was thinking like an indication of I feel like he's plagued by a thought of what he might have done, or if he's not the culprit, he might have suspected what has been done. And the main source of poison comes from the garden after all. So
Absolutely, yeah.
she's gonna go to the garden and see if there is a conspiracy going on, which I don't think Baby Blue actually understands what she's been putting together. She's just following the instinct of like the three people smells like poison or herbs. And one time she plucked a reed in the woods and almost burned her own lips trying to play music out of it. And that reminded her of what poison means. And then she's headed to the garden to see if that is a puzzle piece that can be found.
Everybody else, you're not sure if Baby Blue is fully comprehending, but definitely seems, very sure of where she's going at the moment. So are you all following, or are some of you maybe going somewhere else?
Did Koya ever read the will to figure out who was the actual benefactor?
No, but we can also leave that to your theory in the end.
Secrets.
Yeah.
Then yeah, Mooney would probably also follow to the garden, because Mooney isn't just interested in like valuables but also forageables, and so going to the garden sounds nice to get like maybe a rare plant or just a cool looking plant to put in my pocket. So Mooney will also go along.
Mm-hmm.
Koi is all about the garden. Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan of gardening.
I think Rosie spends another minute just smashing stuff, is like really determined on smashing this pillow, but just kind of gives up. Like only a single feather comes bursting out or something. And then kind of notices that they're alone and then will begin running after Koya.
Yeah. Koya, of course, basically serving as a lighthouse, towering over everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, you arrive, or you exit the secret passageway, and you come out in a thicket, kind of. It's very well hidden. Not something, so you don't really think that anybody would discover this passageway on accident. But you do see a few footprints here that are of different sizes, indicating that more than one person used to go through there from the outside. And as you kind of exit this shrubbery that you end up in, first off, you are right in front of a kind of pit. And down in this pit is quite a bit of water, and in there are two alligators. There is a plate in front of you, and it reads that these two are Edward and George, the two gators of the estate. And you're not supposed to feed them. As you look down there, you also notice that there's something gleaming down there, but you can't quite make out what it is. But also, you're close to the proper gardens, and there is a grand greenhouse. And from inside, well, at least Baby Blue would pick up that there's some kind of music coming from it.
Oh,
Something
music.
like singing, even.
Maybe the string quartet arrived finally.
It
Awake
doesn't
has
sound
never
like
computed.
goblin made music. It sounds like something
Hmm.
primal, even.
I don't think she would like be discriminative about like music. She's just like, especially since it's very primal sounding, she will be pulled towards it in a primal, instinctual way for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. Baby Blue at least then approaches the greenhouse, opens it, and inside. Who else is with Baby Blue here? Just so I know who I can ask about any questions about the greenhouse. Yeah.
Rosie's staring
I
at the
think,
alligators.
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think Koi is like hovering over the alligators. Like, I've never seen alligators this close before. Usually far away, better far away. Um,
Yeah, then I guess it's just Mooney.
Yeah. The alligators, by the way, look at each other, and in alligator, which you don't fully understand, of course, Edward says, "I've never seen a goblin this long before. Barely fit in our stomach."
Goblin the long way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, if it's just Baby Blue and Mooney, then
And Despero, of course.
that's from of course, yeah. You open the greenhouse door, and I think Baby Blue is going to immediately be enraptured by the site in the center of the greenhouse that we'll get to in a second. But Mooney, of course, more like they're more like looking around for things to maybe, smaller things to the side that maybe nobody will miss. You see a very decorative bronze frog already. And what else do you see here that tells you that this greenhouse is not just some greenhouse, but it is, the pride and joy of a very dedicated gardener?
Um, I think that first of all, everything is flourishing in a really beautiful way, but there are a couple of plants that Mooney, because of their interest in every little thing and forageable, know are very difficult to keep alive, like in a um like a manufactured setting, like in a greenhouse rather than in the wild. So like there are orchids that are beautiful and perfectly maintained, roses that are finicky and hard to keep alive, hydrangeas that are a variety of colors, which means the soils are all different pHs to get each different type of color of hydrangea. And so Mooney's just like petals. I'll take a whole bud. Yes. Like each of these are very difficult to get a hold of. But I think Mooney also notices, as Baby Blue suspected, that there are a couple things that are poisonous in here, which isn't inherently suspicious. Like there are just poisonous plants that exist and look pretty, but it does mean that like they were accessible.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe you could even investigate these poisonous plants further, but for now, the thing that Mooney definitely also notices very quickly, and Baby Blue saw immediately, is in the center of the greenhouse. There's an enormous carnivorous plant swaying back and forth almost sadly with blood red, well, blood red leaves, I will even say. Definitely not looking like a normal plant.
The goblin urge is going so strong. Baby Blue is immediately approaching the carnivorous flower that is making the primal music that sounds like the heartbeat of Earth itself. And with that intensity of the moment before a thunderstorm just about to break, she is right at home.
The plant is just swaying back and forth, the rustling of the leaves and also the almost thrumming of the roots just playing a melody, and it sounds a little sad.
Your music is so beautiful for you to be sad. How How are you? What is your name? My name is Baby Blue. I'm also a musician. Can I play with you?
I think
All right,
Mooney might
and
run after Baby Blue and just like grab the back of her shirt before she gets too close. And I'm like, you can play music from right here. You might not want to get
yeah,
any closer. Its mouth is big.
yeah. As you do that, the plant actually just swayed a little backward and then suddenly swayed forward. But didn't quite get to eat Baby Blue. And I was like, ah, no more. So then I lost the great benefactor and don't get goblin lunch now. And they wonder why my song is sad.
Can I bring you some food or some music? Who is your benefactor?
Oh, the one who employs my father. The old goblin is the benefactor, but she is gone now, I have heard.
Oh, the sweet lady who fell asleep forevermore after drinking a poisoned petal. Is it from here? Did you see anything?
Oh, poison, poison. I might know something. Why don't you lean in a little closer and I will definitely tell you that.
Okay.
Nope. It can't see. It doesn't have eyes. It's a plant.
Oh, but footsteps. I heard footsteps through the soil. I can definitely break this case wide open for you. Just trust me and lean lean a little
Ooh.
closer.
Oh, wait a second. Would you consider this
Mm.
plant to
Oh.
be physically imposing or
Oh
dangerous?
yeah, absolutely.
All right, it's time for me to be a
Yeah.
little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will activate little guy. So once per game, when speaking to an NPC that is physically imposing or dangerous, they accidentally reveal a clue.
How do you do that?
Give me a clue.
Yeah. How do you get this ravenous plant to lower its guard and just give the information up to you?
I think I'll keep like playing up the idea that it couldn't possibly help. Like I'll like ignore it entirely and just keep talking to Baby Blue. Like, yeah, okay, maybe it heard footprints, but like, how well could a plant actually tell the difference between different people? And also, people come in a greenhouse all the time. The gardener was probably here all the time. The lady was probably here all the time. How's the plant gonna know who poisoned who?
Mooney, you're so smart.
Thank you.
Oh, they don't even believe in me. Everything is falling apart. Ah. The plant is just in a very pensive mood now. It's, would that they knew that on the day that the old lady fell asleep forevermore, I heard her footsteps and those of somebody else. And then just those of the other one remained and plucked from the gardens. Oh, if they knew.
The idea of this
Wait,
really,
actually,
really
no,
sad.
no. I have more to say, by the way. Just lean in a little bit.
um, is there any food in this greenhouse? Like, I assume a gardener would have the food appropriate for the plant nearby the plant that they're trying to feed.
Mm,
Like, can I
it
roll
is a
with that?
carnivorous plant, so
It could be a a source of meat
yeah.
somewhere here.
Yeah. um, let's say you find. I mean, they're both the alligators and the plant, so maybe outside the lighthouse, but There is definitely just a shack, and there are regular gardening supplies, but then there's also just a freezer full of meat.
Perfect. Okay. Then I'm gonna call out to Rosie and I'm like, hey Rosie, we need your stick. Because I'm
Yeah,
not getting near that thing with my hands.
and Rosie, of course, was last seen in front of the alligator enclosure. So, what has Rosie perhaps been doing there?
Rosie, again, in their typical faction, looks at Koya, both hands gripping the stick, the poker, almost as if asking permission. Does Koya say anything to
Uh,
Rosie?
I, I get the feeling that you want to poke the alligator, and I something in like Koya's mind like does like a spin for a second. He's like, I think that's okay.
Rosie turns with determination to the alligator, very slowly brings up the poker to poke.
And we will see how successfully you poke after the break.
Excellent. Please join us in doing a little break, do a little stretch, grab some water. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. We're back.
Right. Yeah. Welcome back. It is alligator time. So, Rosie is just about to poke Edward or George. Which one? Not that that matters, but just so I
George.
can. George. Okay. Uh, George is an older, more, yeah, more settled gator with a bit of mottled, scaly skin. Looking already at the poker, like, oh dear, not this. You can't really reach down there very easily. You'll have to climb down a little if you fully want to commit to poking the gators and maybe fishing something out of the enclosure. So there's a risk that you'll fall in.
Yes. With great investigation comes great risk. If
Right.
Rosie doesn't poke the gator, who will? Therefore, Rosie climbs over and pokes.
Okay. Yeah, you poke the gator and he immediately snaps,
Ugh.
but not in the most motivated way. It's just like, stop this.
Rosie will turn and poke the other gator.
The other gator seems a bit more enthusiastic about maybe eating you today, and actually jumps out and tries to grab the poker and drag you in. But you are an experienced poker, of course, so you see that coming. But if you want to make a move here, there's a definite risk that you will be in very real danger of getting mauled by an alligator. Or
Okay.
maybe someone will have to rescue you.
I suppose it would depend on if Koya wants to take advantage and do anything here. If not, then have a plan.
Uh, I think Koya is just kind of watching like what's going on. Um, and I think like maybe at this point sees the thing that's like shiny down there and is
Mhm.
like, there's something down there. Um, may- maybe I could grab it. And still like intently watching, but like trying to like waddle over there to get in position to grab this thing really quickly.
I mean, you would also have to climb in, but maybe Rosie can distract the gators.
Yes. seeing Koya focusing in on the shiny thing, Rosie will start to whirlwind the poker and is just basically just antagonizing. Poke, 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 poke.
Yeah. And they are just snapping at you at this point. And Koya is clear to go in as, Rosie with their with their dangerous but very practiced poking has created an opening for you.
Yeah, I think Koya kind of has like the thought process of like I just have to do the thing really fast
Mhm.
and isn't really like planning at all, and it's just like gotta get the thing and get out.
Yeah.
uh,
And I mean, first off, this is going to be, I think, a vitality or cool roll. Again, either one could work. And also, you can use your ability here, of course, which is reckless, which just says you get advantage, but you will suffer a condition. So if you just dive in there, the gators will get to you. You'll be a little bit, chomped on maybe at the end of this. A tiny bit, yeah. But I mean, you're so tall, there's so much of you. It's not too bad if a little piece goes missing. And you'll get your clue most likely.
yeah, sure. I think I'm gonna go vitality because I have absolutely no cool. Uh, uh, and how does advantage work?
You just roll 3d6 and drop the lowest one.
Yeah. So I got a 5 and a 2 plus 1, which is 8.
Okay. That means you you succeed, but you either gain a condition or an NPC hates you now. So I could load you up with 2 conditions. But I'm going to say an NPC hates you now. So first off, describe how you, with just a little bit of bodily harm happening to you, get what is hidden below there. Which, by the way, turns
I,
out to be a glass vial with trace amounts of poison still in there.
I think Koya like adjusts his bow tie and makes sure his glasses are straight and just like jumps in
Yeah.
and grabs it. And then it's like, all right, gotta scramble. Like tries to get out of there.
Mhm.
Uh,
And I think Edward is still just frantically trying to attack the poker, which is good for you because he's the far more agile gator. But the more just older, methodical George, hang on, somebody just jumped down here, and as you turn to leave, does bite you, but only manages to get your foot. You are now at -1 boot, and also have a little bite wound on your foot, but are otherwise unharmed as you just scramble out of there, looking down to see George chewing on a boot, disappointed. And this is where the second part of your mixed success is going to come in. Jasper, the gardener, in a somewhat worn tweed suit, accompanied by a young goblin who looks, well, is very richly dressed. But there's something about their style that makes you think they're just putting on a show, and usually they are. They did this to honor their mother because this is, in fact, Juniper, the one who has an affair with Jasper. And they're walking up to you, talking to each other. First off, what do you see on Juniper in terms of appearance that makes you think? I'm going to say this is for Rosie. What makes you think they are not a regular noble goblin at all?
Ooh. So it is known that goblin nobles wear a thingamajig. And this particular goblin is wearing the thingamajig upside down.
Oh, yeah. That has long been a sign of nobles expressing their disagreement with the social hierarchy they are themselves a benefactor of. So yeah, for the thingamajig to be upside down, that is a strong statement. Definitely. As, by the way, having narrowly escaped the carnivorous plant twice, Baby Blue and Mooney come back from the greenhouse. I think looking for something to feed to the plant. And you see Jasper and Juniper walk up. And then you just see Jasper's face just turn from regular conversation with Juniper just, oh no, just looking at the goblin, the exceedingly tall, impossible to miss goblin that just climbed out of the alligator pit. Like, what have you done? Don't tell me you fed them. Don't tell me did you climb in there?
Well, something was in there that had fallen, and I had to get it.
What did
I
you
grabbed
get?
it.
You
Well,
you saw something had fallen into the gator pit and you got it?
yeah.
We have
Not a
one
good
wake here
decision.
already. We don't need. Yes, it's not a good decision. You're correct.
Look, someone had to get it. Right?
No.
Mm.
When something falls into the alligator pit, you let the gators take care of it.
Oh, I shouldn't climb in to get my boot back then.
Why don't you try? Juniper is don't actually, he doesn't mean that. Don't climb back in. We just had to bury my mother. We don't need another one.
Does them taking your boot count as feeding the alligators? Because then it definitely makes sense if that guy doesn't like you anymore.
He's more concerned about you directly feeding the alligators with your own body, but yeah.
The sign doesn't say do not feed your body to the alligators.
It's implied.
These signs need to be more specific. I like to imagine Rosie's still just cartwheeling this stick at George in the background the entire time. Probably playing tug of war with George now with the poker.
Okay, so Rosie's still in there. Yeah. Did Rosie actually say that the sign needs to be more specific? Just is that voice coming out of the gator pit?
No, that's coming out of Stella. Rosie can't read.
Okay. Right, then Jasper doesn't even realize that there's a goblin still in there and is just laying into Koya. What did you find in there then? What was so important that you risked your life? And our reputation
Well,
on that.
I would show you, but I haven't examined it myself yet. And
You didn't even know what you
if
were getting?
yeah, well, I couldn't see it that well, but it looked important.
You couldn't see it that well, but it looked important. Do your
Yes,
words make
I
sense to
could.
you?
Uh, in some fashion or form, they seem logical.
I Look, I need all of you. Oh, there. You and those two, I guess, are your friends over there. I need all of you out of the gardens right now. Juniper waves back to Mooney, by the way, and say, hi. Jasper doesn't.
Uh, I suppose that's fair. Um, if I could have just if I could just have one moment. And Koya's gonna turn
Oh.
around and walk over to the alligator pit and say, Rosie, we're getting kicked out of the garden, so you're gonna have to come out now."
Rosie? Who?
Rosie's just
And
trying to get back their stick.
yeah, Jasper runs on. What are you doing with my gators?
Poker. Poker. Just pulling on the stick. Like,
yeah, George is still just hanging on there, but it eventually gives up. Oh.
uh,
I
one.
think
Go ahead.
one oh sorry, go ahead. Oh, I wonder if Despero will be like kind of weaving around Juniper and Jasper's feet. It's just the two of them there, right? Not
Yeah,
Jasmine isn't there.
not yet. No.
I wonder if Despero will be able to smell, like, does Jasper has that smell from before as well, or
Yeah,
okay?
it does. Yeah. And there are also. Well, why is there a rat here now too? Jasper being a little bit annoyed. I hope you didn't let that rat into the greenhouse. If I see anything nibbled on in there, and at this point, Juniper is just going to come in like, oh, Jasper, please, and just going to pat his shoulder. Look, I mean, they just needed to step out, probably. I
You
wish I
have
could, honestly.
such a beautiful greenhouse, and your plant, she is sad. You have to play music for your plants, otherwise they start to wither.
None of my plants ever wither. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
Yep.
you have to feed your plant, you have to play music for your plant, and you also have to make sure your plant don't see any crime happening.
I don't know what you're talking about. And also, just to reiterate, my plants are exceedingly happy. Of course, with the money from the inheritance, at this point, Juniper's eyes roll violently in her skull. That, after all, most of the estate will be bequeathed to me for my many years of service. I will be able to maybe provide some live instrumentation. It's quite a bit of money, but trust me, these plants are as happy as they possibly could be. And Juniper's like, Jasper,
Oh,
please. Not about this testament again. We know that that's fake. And honestly, if I don't know where that even came from. It's clearly me who's going to inherit everything. Of course, you'll get your share. If it wasn't you that planted that weird testament that gives everything to you, it's probably just. I don't know. Maybe it's Jasmine planting it to annoy us. She's always trying to get between us, Oh, anyway, I don't think you should listened to all of that, by the way.
But plants don't lie.
Yeah,
No, the
your
plant
plant
can
looks
listen to it.
weird.
Just the four of you maybe don't.
Is it normal for your plant to have blood red leaves? Out of curiosity.
Uh, well, okay. Well, yes. If we can change the subject, wonderful. Yes, I've. It's not normal, of course, but I have specifically raised this plant to have these leaves. Yes.
Hmm. Is it also normal for your plant, to hear the footsteps of your dead lady right before she's dead, and also other footsteps, and then the snipping of plants right
Uh,
after that? Is that also normal?
what are you trying to imply here?
I'm not implying anything. I'm asking if it's normal. Your plant said it. Go talk to your plant. Ask what your plant's implying. I'm not implying anything. I'm just repeating what I
Well, if
heard.
you're not implying anything, then I think now it's. This is Jasper, by the way. I think now it's time for you to leave.
That's
And
interesting.
me as the GM is going to say, if you want him to say anything else, you need to make a move, and it's going to be a disadvantage because he hates you.
Oh, he hates me too now. Great.
Can I
He
try
hates all of you
something
now.
here?
Yeah.
I would like to use my little guy move here.
Okay. Yeah.
So once per game, when speaking to an NPC that's in a position of authority, they accidentally reveal a clue to you.
Yeah. Would definitely apply to Juniper because she's the one of the now. Well, she belongs to the Fanville family. She's noble, or they are noble.
Okay, so while
And
Jasper is talking to Mooney,
yeah.
I think what Rosie is doing, Rosie has lowered their stick. And while this conversation's happening off to the side, Rosie is staring, unblinking, just at Juniper. Just these large, beady eyes, doesn't have eyelids, just staring quietly, doesn't say a word. And I think this is like the most unnerving thing to experience.
Yeah. Yes, and I think for Juniper, it's Juniper as a noble scion is not unused to attention like that. But of course, this is a wake. This is a very strange situation. You did just climb out of an alligator pit, and if nothing else, Juniper is going to be
technically
very
won.
interested in this strange goblin that is just staring at them. And at some point, it's just what's going on, and it's then just going to settle on staring back very intently and walking towards you, and just stand in front of you like, well, what do you want then?
10 minutes pass by. Rosie's not saying anything, just
Yeah.
staring.
Juniper just starts talking like, no, I know how that it like I'm not allowed to say usually, but I mingle with the lower classes. I sneak out sometimes. And sometimes people, they recognize me, of course. And is there anything that, are you going to say anything? No. This is very.
Just staring.
They just begin
Quietly.
to sweat a little bit.
If you know
Yes, but what?
something and you want to protect someone else, it's just going to make everyone even sadder, including your plants.
I don't. These are not my plans. Well, I mean, I like them. I like Jasper, so I like his plans. And why am I talking? Are they always this Starry, by the way. Is Baby Blue also staring now?
Blink, blink. Also, Despero, blink,
Oh,
blink.
man. Why you all- No, are you trying to make me feel guilty? You don't even know what.
I know you
Why are
feel
you?
guilty.
I don't. I have nothing to feel guilty about. I just look. Okay, maybe I have. Maybe I should
I
share
think
with the police that I found this book about mixing poisons. And yes, maybe it's Jasper's. Maybe I found it in Jasmine's room. Maybe I did all of that. Maybe I kept it a little bit longer than I should have. But I mean,
I don't. I think you feel guilty because you think maybe it is your fault that your mother is now sleeping forever. But
I-
if you know something, you should tell us. Otherwise, you're
you
just gonna feel guilty and sad forever.
at as you say, sleeping forever. That is just for them just such a bizarre phrase to hear now that you just see tears welling up. And Jasper, we need to go. Let them feed themselves to your alligators if they have to, but come now.
Do you not want to know what happened?
They are storming off at this point. Unless you want to formulate a theory right as they turn to leave. And also, you see coming around the corner of the Fenwell estate another goblin in the company of Constable Gunk, the policeman who is here waddling behind her. This one is Jasmine, the other daughter, who is talking to the constable. Somebody smashed just basically everything in my room and also in the third reading room. Everything. I don't. You need to. I'm telling you, it was probably Juniper. She just, with her fake will and everything, she's just trying to make my life miserable now. And look, that there they are, just and then realizing that Juniper is currently crying. Well, anyway. So is this your time where you formulate a theory of what happened, or do we want to talk to Jasmine first?
I do have a wild theory, but I want to talk to
Okay.
you guys above table first.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. I also have a theory.
Yeah, I mean, this is an
Yeah.
above table discussion. So what happens when we formulate a theory is that is essentially a move. So just like everything else, it is rolled with 2d6. It can never be rolled with advantage or disadvantage. And it doesn't use one of the regular stats. It does instead use the number of clues that you kind of incorporate into your theory. And I think we are at a possible +7 from that. And then you subtract 4. So if you include all 7 clues, you will have a +3 to the final roll, at which point you're very likely to succeed. Oh yeah, take it away now. This is your time to discuss your theories.
I want to hear yours first because I feel like mine is a little wild.
Okay. All right. Here's my red string board, right? So we have the poison scent on Jasper, Jasmine, and Juniper, right? Juniper affair with Jasper. All three of them are claiming to be the rightful heir. Jasper is by far the most suspicious. He had access to the poison plants. The glass vial is with the alligator pit. The carnivorous plant said that it heard the lady was with someone who then ended up plucking petals after she went silent. So my theory is that Juniper is the actual heir because she doesn't understand why Jasper would be listed as the heir, and their affair was possibly still a secret at the time of the lady's death. So Jasper, however, I think wants the money and like wanted to be able to like be with Juniper like out in the open or whatever. So he poisons the lady without necessarily telling Juniper, so that way she has plausible deniability. Plants the book in Jasmine's room to implicate Jasmine as the murderer if this ever came out. So like framing Jasmine. That's I think that's everything in our clues.
Mm-hmm.
And then the real will and the rocking horse would have the real person, which I think is Juniper. That's my guess, is that she's the real inheritor.
Which can be whatever you want it to be. The question is, how do you link the real will to your actual theory of the murder? It would kind of necessitate that Jasper knows about it or something like that.
That's a good point. Because how did it get in the horse?
So I have a little bit of a different theory.
Okay.
Yeah, go off.
I think this goes far back into the last generation. I think the butler and the lady had an affair, just like how Juniper is having an affair with Jasper right now. Juniper is the child of the lady and the butler. And Jasmine, on the other hand, is the child of the lady and the original lord of the house, the right old bastard, as we know him to be. Jasper possibly could be another love child. I'm not really sure about that. But I think there has been so many disputes between all three of the children, and the lady and the butler formulated a plan. They wrote 3 separate wills, gave it to 3 of them each, making them think they are the sole heir. And the lady and the butler sort of conspired together because the lady was already terminally ill. So she drank the poison herself and asked the butler to plant all of the poisons on all 3 of the possible heir. That's my theory.
I'm gagged, actually.
That is so good.
That's crazy.
That is so
I kind of love
good.
it.
I love
I
that.
kind of love it.
My theory is so baby. I'll be honest, Rosie can't read, so I think that Rosie is like the clue getter, not the clue putter together, right?
You don't need to all have a theory, by the way.
Well, my Stella's theory is
Yeah.
that it's definitely not Jasper, because the plant specifically mentioned Jasper as father. Ooh, or said father. Oh, they could potentially be the butler though, because Jasper doesn't have a pulse on how the plant's feeling. Like swore up and down that the plant is happy. So maybe the butler. It's either the butler or Jasper.
Jasper can lie. Jasper can lie.
That's true. That's true. But when the plant talked about the old lady, didn't say father, probably would have said father if it was Jasper, right? And had said that the lady was with somebody else. So I think because of that, Jasper might be a red herring. That's as far as I've thought. Yeah.
That would fit with Rand's theory then, if the butler is kind of the father of the plant as well.
Well, like,
Yeah,
the
he's
butler was
always
nervous.
he was distraught and nervous. So, whether or not he is the sole murderer or the I just feel like he executed some stuff, but he was not the mastermind behind it all, and
Yeah.
he was upset about what happened. So that's why I think the lady who died was actually the mastermind behind it all and wanted to teach her children a final lesson of some sort.
Well, what I will say is, hearing the commotion outside, the butler is also coming outside. Now, oh, good heavens, can you never stop your endless bickering even on the day of your mother's and your benefactor's wake? Ugh. I thought these times of endless fighting were over when we got when the old Lord Bogleton so unfortunately died without anybody knowing how that happened. Anyway, uh, can you please come back inside and pay your respects to your mother and employer without whatever this scene is now again? And this is perhaps the time where somebody of you could step forward explaining what this scene here means.
Wait, I have another over the table thought.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is how it works in Goblin Town, but
I also don't make something up. It's gonna be fine.
so in like real life, if there's disputes over like the heir of a particular like estate or like money or whatever, usually it's kept like in a trust or like within the estate's funds until this dispute is resolved in some way. And so if the butler did it, he's the executor of the estate currently. Like he's kind of in charge of everything currently. And all three children have a will stating who gets it. And so yeah, like if Jasper did the murder, why would the other two have wills? Like why would he not just have the one for himself? Um so like even if he was framing Jasmine, like why would all three of them have wills? So yeah, if the butler creates the confusion, he gets to just keep maintaining the estate and living his life while the three of them bicker because he knows they bicker and he knows this is just going to last forever. Plus,
Yeah.
who knows how the previous lord died?
Yeah, who knows how
True.
that happened?
So, okay, my theory has shifted. I think the butler is more suspicious, and he like was actively suspicious in the beginning. Like he was both like mournful but like nervous.
Souza, do you have any ideas?
I I think like potentially that what you've all said about sort of like the misdirection and the poisoning and stuff, like I agree with that. I guess my only thought was more that what if the butler is the person who is on the actual will and didn't want it, and that's why he hid it?
Well,
And then all of them sort of made up their own thing.
What if he's guilty because he killed the old lord?
oh, 100% he did that. That's pretty much
We
what,
get that one
yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. See, cogs are turning.
But that's
I'm
not
bad
really,
at
I mean,
puzzles.
that's not related to the actual theorizing. That's just something I just say, yeah, he did that in the past.
Unless
Maybe,
the lady found out and she's like, "You killed my ex-husband," blah, 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 and like
yeah.
then he
I'm
knew.
leaving it up to you whether the lady found out and whether she maybe wanted her old husband to be killed by the butler.
I think the lady and the butler killed her former husband together. That's what I think.
Hmm.
But she keeps her hand clean.
Hmm. Okay, so do we feel good about the butler actually being it and Jasper being a red herring? Period. Like, do we feel good about that as an idea?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Because I think it's odd that like everyone
Mm-hmm.
has poison on them. Like it can't be all of them because they all have different agendas. So it doesn't make sense for everyone to be the bad guy.
Also, who manages their clothes? Because if the butler is in charge of making sure their clothes are laundered or whatever, then he
Mm-hmm.
could be the one who make their clothes smell like that, like in putting whatever flour he used for the poison in with the wash or whatever
Right.
to make them all smell like that.
Okay, I think we have a motive and theory somehow. I'm just gonna go through the clues now. Let's start with the real will.
Mm-hmm.
How does that factor into your theory? Who is the actual benefactor? Why was it hidden? Did the guilty party know about it or not?
I think the real benefactor is actually Jasmine, but I still think since Juniper is the actual child of the butler hides the real will for, because I think Jasmine is probably like the proper and like actual nobility daughter who the lady had with her first husband, maybe.
That would make
I mean,
sense why Juniper is wearing the thingamajig upside down. Because
Yeah.
Juniper's not a real noble.
Absolutely.
also, even if we don't feel 100% confident about that, we do know that Juniper and Jasper were having an affair, and she maybe or maybe didn't tell the mom before she died. But let's say the mom did find out before she died, she could have been like, okay, I'm disowning you. I don't agree with this affair. I'm only going to let Jasmine inherit. And so either way, Jasmine could be the real inheritor, and the butler might not have wanted that.
Yeah. The poison scent on Jasper, Jasmine, and Juniper, and not the butler. How did that happen? I think Ran had a theory about that in the beginning.
Wait, what's the clue
The
for
poison
this?
scent on Jasper, Jasmine, and Juniper.
Um, I think it was just, who was it that said, I think Mooney was saying like since the butler was the one who take care of laundry, or maybe, and that's
Mm.
why everybody smells like that except for himself.
All right, yeah. So that was a red herring. The carnivorous plant that very sadly mentioned that the lady was with somebody who plucked the petals. Was that then when the butler and her made the plan for her exit stage left, or what was that?
Maybe that's when she told him who she was going to put on the will. Like maybe she had just
Mm.
found out about the affair and she's like, okay, I think I'm going to disinherit Juniper and just make Jasmine the only uh the only inheritor, because like as the butler he would be somewhat familiar with like the goings on of her estate, so it makes sense for her to tell him what she was planning to do with the will. So maybe like she told him, she left the garden, and since he was already there, he plucked the petals of whatever poisonous plant he ended up using.
And okay, we have the affair between Jasper and Juniper covered, I think. So that would be another clue. The book about poisons was planted, I suppose, by the butler.
It
Yeah.
makes the most sense because
Yeah,
he's the one who has access to everywhere.
yeah, absolutely. So how did the killing take place then? That's also where the poison vial and the secret passage that aren't yet part of the theory can come in.
Mhm.
We had footsteps, evidence of someone climbing out of a window in the chaotic bedroom, right?
That was Juniper's, but yeah.
Yes, okay. So that probably means Juniper did not have access to the secret passageway. Because if she was going to meet up with the gardener, she would have just probably taken that instead of climbing out of a window, you know?
Yeah, they might not have known about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like the only people who would know about the passageway is probably the butler. Maybe the mother?
All possible.
You know, this isn't a clue that our GM provided, but I do think about Baby Blue's song and the idea that like the lady had it in her tea, like the poison, because the butler would be the one to serve her food and drink. And so he could have used the secret passageway or not. He could have just straight up went
Mhm.
to her room, served her usual drink, and she ended up dead that
Yeah.
way.
Then exited through the passageway and discarded the vial because the gator pit is close to that. Maybe. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. We have, I think, incorporated all 7. So who wants to do the honors and roll the dice, and also then have the responsibility to step up and confront the killer?
Mhm. Who's feeling lucky?
Probably
Who's
not
feeling like
Rosie.
they're blessed by the dice?
Rain, you had a pretty good roll earlier.
I did, but I don't want to jinx it now. Baby Blue will instead step up and start like singing a little song to like gently accuse the butler. So a little bit of the butler brewed a bitter cup with hands so soft and collars up. He stirred it thrice, he watched her sip. He did not flinch, he bit his lip. She fell like dusk, the candles blinked. He poured the rest into the sink. And when they asked, he bowed his head, but not a tear for her, now gone. He gained her trust over the years, and she still think of him as someone she loved and loved her in return.
Mr.
That made
Moorcock
it
is just
easy and made it hard.
Mr. Moorcock is just going to look at first. Just look at what. Why is this tiny goblin now singing? And then,
There is some
I mean,
tiny
he's also a
squeak that
goblin,
has
but he's a very formal goblin. And just then his goblin ears just perk up and realizes what you are actually singing. So, are you implying that I killed Lady Fenwell? I could never. Good heavens, I couldn't. Not after I
Oh,
already. I know. I will. Well, believe me, I would rather.
I'm
Well,
not implying anything. I'm just singing what the muses tell me.
well, you can tell your muses that they can stuff it because I would never kill Lady Fenwell. She always treated me most graciously, much unlike that miserable buffoon Borgleton. But never mind, we're not discussing his demise.
I know you didn't want to do it. I know you still think of yourself and think of her as the most important person for you, but you did do it and you have to apologize to her now. She's still in the
Excuse
floorboard.
she. Oh, is this about the ghosts again? I assure you, her mortal remains are currently in a very beautiful coffin. You can still visit it if you'd like. And now I would like for you to cease this entire silly business here. And now somebody needs to roll for the guys and see if you've actually accused him correctly, I think.
Sousa, do you want to roll?
Oh man.
You
I
are the tallest.
I guess as like this is all happening, Koi is like, wait, I have the actual will in my pocket, and pulls it out, and it's like, I think this will make everything make sense. Yeah, I'll roll. I'm
All
rolling.
right, 2d6
Heck yeah.
Fingers
plus 3.
crossed.
So unlikely that you'll fail at this point, honestly.
Don't jinx it.
Oh, I will.
It's 5 and a 4 for 9
Oh.
plus 3 is 12.
Nice.
Well, okay, you succeed and gain advantage on your next roll. I guess
On our
fine.
next mystery.
All right, you pull out the will. The butler's goblin ears that were just fully upright when he heard Baby Blue's song now just droop down. It's like, oh, what is this now? Just in a very get it over with already kind of voice. And what is it now? What is in the will?
I think we said Jasmine is the inheritor.
Mhm.
And I think the the will doesn't go into like detail, I don't think, as to like why. Just sort of all my like worldly possessions and things go to Jasmine. And I think Koya reads it out loud while looking at the butler in a way to like coax him into being upset about it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And yeah, while this is like the butler is getting visibly upset, and also the two children, Jasmine and Juniper, and also Jasper just cast some glances at each other, like realizing how the three different wills came to be. And then there's also, I totally didn't forget about him at all, Constable Gunk, who's just looking to Mooney now, who's just been standing, I think, closest to him. Can somebody fill me in here now? This sounds crime related.
Yeah, the butler poisoned the lady.
Oh, wow. Never would have thought that. I always thought it was.
It's always the
well,
butler, you know? Like,
I mean,
got it.
usually it's the spouse, but he's been dead for years. So anyway, well,
Rosie will
that
open her trench coat, and you see that they have many pockets on the inside. And then they just start taking out the clues from the rooms where they
Yeah.
broke things and just starts putting it on the ground in a line. So, like, there's a broken teacup. There's the book that had crystal on it. There's,
Yeah.
just like bits and
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, Constable Gunk's like, are those all? Is that all evidence? And the
oh
butler just
yeah,
like,
and I have the poison vial. I got this out of an alligator pit.
And if you want another
And
witness, you can go into the greenhouse and talk to the plant who is very, very sad but sings very well. But you have to go a little bit far away, otherwise, he is going to eat you.
Yeah, maybe bring some meat or something if you're gonna talk to the plant.
Yeah.
the butler at this point, oh yes, this good constable would all be evidence. I'm rather afraid. I'm afraid if you look closer, you will also find more evidence of other, well, in the eyes of the law, misdeeds, but all done in the best interests of the estate. But of course, I can't let this evidence leave these gardens, I am afraid. And that's where you will need to succeed at a few rolls to actually bring the culprit in. And you can either try to talk him down from doing whatever he's got planned now, or you can deal with what is about to happen. Okay, I'm seeing that as a vote for dealing with what's about to happen.
Rosie, though very straightforward with their problem solving skills, is not the type to just jump into action.
Mhm.
Definitely waits, wants to see what the others want to do first. Always a plan B.
I'm down to try and talk him down. If y'all
Yeah.
will allow.
He is going to take out a remote. It has a single red button on it. There are more secrets that this estate has in stock for you, I am quite afraid. And he's going to begin pressing the button.
Are you going to try to sacrifice your own child in this as well?
He hesitates for a moment.
Because Jasmine is going to share, right? And all of these people.
Jasmine says, "Who, with them? This brat?
ruin
No,
this."
never.
Don't ruin this.
I certainly will not share." And I think at this point the button is actually getting pushed down.
No, wait. Mooney would like try to stop him.
Despero!
Uh,
Despero, go! Go!
and
Yeah, I think Mooney would try
my
to stop him.
dearest
Like,
child, Moorcock is just going to look at Juniper. Child, away from the gator pit, and press the button. And you hear it rumbling as you realize there's a platform on the bottom of the pit, and it's now getting higher and higher, and very quickly the gators emerge, hungry and very peeved about being poked multiple times. Jaws snapping and coming right at Rosie.
Rosie's ready.
You need to
And we
escape the
would.
gators first, as Constable Gung is like, "Oh, buddy, I sure wish they'd arm the goblin police." And then just runs away immediately. And yeah, we have two gators coming right at Rosie, who poker at the ready needs to roll with advantage now.
Hell yeah. Okay. My vitality is +2. 6, 10. That's going to be a 10.
All right.
Bonk.
You succeed. Yeah, you bonk the gators. They've already taken quite a few hits, and at this point, they're just like, get one good hit in, and they're like, "Oh god, no, not again this."
I like to
This little
imagine that,
goblin.
like, on the surface, it looks like Rosie is just like, just hitting stuff recklessly.
Yeah.
But like a really subtle undertone of like Rosie just calculating everywhere that she already softened up earlier and is just like hitting those same bruises, and that's why it's so effective.
Yeah. The
Can
gators
I
snap their jaws once. One sec.
try to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then just immediately give up and just turn tail and rush towards the shack where the fridge full of meat is, and just think, you know what, live would be better, but the meat in there doesn't fight back.
Is it possible to do like some kind of cool combo move where like maybe Despero is on the end of the poker and then Rosie like tries to like throw Despero over at the butler?
Yeah, the butler is trying to run away at this point, towards probably another secret exit somewhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's possible for Despero to help Rosie out with this gator situation, what Despero can do is runs towards the gator and make himself a target. But because he's so small, he can go down through the cracks and things, and in that way lead the gator towards the butler to stop him.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, the gators turn away. I think we can combine that even. I think we can say the gators turn away, but then Despero is there and distracting them again, and Rosie can pick them up. Can pick Despero up and catapult Despero over to the butler, who's just running away now. And see if Despero lands safely on the butler, and then that would get the attention of the gators, who would then be on the butler again. That would be maybe a reason or cool roll from Baby Blue then to direct that whole thing.
Okay.
With advantage, of course, because red.
Okay. That's good with advantage because
Yeah.
that would be a 9 total.
Okay. So mixed success. You will suffer a condition, and the condition is frightened because Despero is doing this, but at one point gets very, very close to Edward, the more nimble gator, and nearly gets snapped up, but then gets out of there safely and is just in time picked up by Rosie, who launches Despero, his little needle sword at the ready, towards the butler. And this is also where you will apprehend the culprit. So, how do you, with the aid of Despero, take the butler down here?
I think in the true fashion of Ratatouille, Despero is going to be launched by Rosie and catapult across the air, arching towards the butler, lands on his head, knocks off his hat, and then Despero, one hand with the needle sword, and the other hand kind of picking up a strand of the butler's hair and just pull it just in the right direction to kind of pull him off balance to try
Yeah.
to like slow him down.
Yeah, the butler actually stumbles, and that means he can't possibly escape the gators anymore unless you step in and apprehend him now. And this is just you narrating it. It can just be Rosie coming in with the poker again and driving the gators off while the others apprehend him. But yeah, how does this end now?
Yes,
I
Rosie.
think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say. I think Koya looks at the gators and is like, they might eat him, and like just reaches over and like pulls him this way. The butler out of the way of the gator is like, oh, I don't I don't think we want him eaten.
Yeah. And how do you stop the gators then? This is then for Mooney and Rosie.
Does Mooney have any ideas? Because you know what Rosie's
I
gonna
mean,
do.
literally no rolls required. Whatever you do is working. You've already succeeded.
I think to stop the gators, um, Rosie, if you don't mind if I borrow your stick real quick. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the videos of people like bapping gators like on the nose and like they go away. So kind of like I'm gonna try to like bat both the gators on the nose to get their attention and point to the shed that has more meat. And I'm just like, nope, okay, we need this guy. You're gonna need to go over there. And just hope they listen.
Yeah, they do. At this point, also, Constable Gunk kind of gathers himself. Oh, it just had been running away. Looks. Oh. And then sees that all of the guests of the wake are just gathering outside, and Constable Gunk is going to go over there. Nothing to see here. I've got it all under control. Everything is fine. We have apprehended the butler. The butler did it, as always, of course. And I knew that. And while Constable Gunk is doing that, you have saved the butler, who is going to be apprehended. You have a few very confused goblins in Jasper, Juniper, and Jasmine who have to sort a few things out between them. But also, you have an entire unguarded mansion now. You know a secret entrance, you can go in. You have the gardens to yourself now while this chaos is happening around you. Before you leave the site of your successful investigation, what do all of you do here? And I'll start with, I'm just going to go in the order that I see you in Discord. Mooney.
You're muted.
I think you're muted, yeah.
I sure am. I think a thing that has been missing from Mooney's collection is a locket. Mooney has been hunting for a locket for a long time and just never had the chance. So Mooney's gonna try to sneak back into like the rooms that the girls, like the ones that seem to be for the girls, um, and try to find a locket to take with them.
Absolutely. And you find all the lockets that you want, of course.
5 lockets hanging from
Yeah. What is Baby Blue doing? Where is Baby Blue going to spend her time here?
Well, first of all, she is going to give Desperal a big hug and lots of pets and scritches and comforting words. And then she's going to say,
All right, Despero. What do you say you and I go and learn that song from the giant flower? And we can go tell her that she doesn't need to be sad anymore. All of the stories have been solved, and we have found the culprit, and she can be happy again.
and then she'll walk into the greenhouse and try to harmonize with the plant, who I don't know if is still like pruning this primal song that comes from the depth of
Yeah.
such sorrow and longing of all of the years that they had witnessed all of the like mysteries and treacheries in this estate.
Absolutely. And over time, the song changes ever more, and you hear of all the great mysteries and murders of this estate. And you also learn an incredibly heart-wrenching and beautiful song from a plant that would still kind of like to eat you, but is also very happy to have somebody to make music with now. And Koya, what is Koya doing here now?
I think Koya also goes to the greenhouse after hearing about a plant that talks. It's like an sort of instinctual thing that Koya just has to go see it, no matter how dangerous it's been described as. And he walks in there and is kind of just watching the scene play out, and it's like, this is so fascinating. And he pulls out a notebook and just starts writing notes about this plant, and it's like, we're gonna love this. And
Yeah, absolutely. And last one then is Rosie.
Rosie, after getting the poker back, visits the Gators, gets Koya's boot back,
Yeah.
but will spend most of their time with their poker, and they're just like beating the crap out of one of the flower bushes just as a treat. Just as, listen, there was a temptation at the beginning of the episode, and Rosie's just doing this for fun, just bounces right back. And then you see like a sad flower fall off of the bush, and then that ends up being the flower that they pick up and they wrap around the poker, and now
Oh,
it's
yeah.
part of the poker
Yeah.
in the art right
In
here.
the- All right, yeah, we see the flower fall getting wrapped around. We see as Rosie wraps the flower around the poker. We see Constable Gunk handcuffing the butler, whose time at the estate is after many years and 2 killings, possibly more, who knows, is coming to an end. And this ends our time at the Fenville Manor as well. We have solved a murder in a very goblin-y way. Yeah.
Excellent.
Congratulations, everybody. Hope you had fun, and thanks for playing. And everybody in chat, thanks for watching as well.
Yes, please be sure to head on over to wizardstyles.itch.io to get your copy of Swamp Goblin Mysteries. It's free. Please download it. Please
Yeah.
check it out. Share it to a friend. As you can see, it was absolutely wonderful and a very good time. We're going to do some outros here. So please tell me who you are, where we can find you, and then tell us what your favorite part of today's game was. And we'll start with Bardic Pro.
Hi again. So my name is Naomi. I go by Bardic Pro. You can find me here on Twitch, actually, twitch.tv/Bardic Pro. I usually stream video games, but I also dabble in TTRPGs just like this one. My favorite part of today, I think, is Rosie's decision to break every other thing as a concession to Koya in Jasmine's room.
Thank you so much. Next, we've got Ran.
Hi, my name is Ran, she, her pronouns, and I have been Baby Blue. Hope you've enjoyed our game today. You can find me as Burdick Inspiration on Blue Sky or Rhino Riddler on and everywhere else on social media. I was absolutely charmed by Janice, your portrayal of the sad flower who just needs a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Friend, not a snack. Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Yes.
you.
Could be both. Could be both.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Souza.
Hi, I'm Souza. You can find me at ASouzaGM on Blue Sky. And I'm also the host of Melanin Mythos, an all BIPOC world building podcast. I'll say my favorite part is Mooney pulling Baby Blue away from getting eaten by the plant multiple times.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And last but not least, we have our Game Master. Where can we find you?
We also have you. You also need to say a favorite thing.
Oh,
At least.
yes, of course. Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV, all their social media. I do all of this full time. So if you want to find more information about the next thing that I'm doing, you can head over to my Blue Sky at stellaluna.tv. My favorite part, oof, God, I'll be honest. Part of the reason I like to take over the outro is because I always have like so many favorites, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just gloss over me, and that way I don't have to pick one. But thanks for putting me on the spot. I will say that my favorite part was just how innocently chaotic each and every one of you were. Like, this was just such a wholesome and unhinged game. Absolutely fantastic. I like hats off, shout out to Ran with those improvised songs. Like, I understand, like you said in chat that like you had a minute to like write them, but still, like, oh my god, amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So cool. Absolutely fantastic. I loved Koya's gentleness, but like the recklessness part did really come out and was just, it was such a unique balance. And jokes about Koya being long were so funny. I could not. And Mooney was absolutely wonderful. I think I would have a great time just having a cup of tea with Mooney, and Mooney would always have like the coolest stories of all the little things that they find. Just wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much. And now you get to talk, Janice. Your turn.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. You can find me as Wizard Styles everywhere, but that mainly means on Blue Sky and also now on itch.io. There will be another game on itch.io eventually. For now, I will disappear from the internet for a while and then re-emerge in July, when you will see me in a game of The Between on Starcrawl RPG. Some person that is also on screen currently will also be there. Yeah, okay. Yeah. My favorite thing today, I was also probably going to mention the song, but that's been brought up. So I will say just the way you all just came there to the wake, like just said, no, we actually have no idea that there's a mystery to solve. We're just going to go in there and start just doing things and just stumble upon clues just almost randomly and didn't interact with people. Just were like, yeah, we're just going goblin mode and just start poking things and smashing everything and going through drawers.
Love that we just
It's like,
immediately went
okay.
into messing with stuff instead of
Yeah.
talking to people.
That was
I mean, I'm
not the
pretty sure we
intro
all have
that
like I feel like we all have a cool score of like 0. So like,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think any
But
of us are
also
gonna talk to anyone.
yeah, this was not how I imagine going in. Okay, yeah, they're just gonna be there. I'll introduce the suspects. And I was like, no, we're zooming off to just a random place. But you had a plan. You immediately collected clues. And okay, no, they got this. They're just being goblins. It's fine. Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Thanks again, Stella, for having this on the channel. Thanks to everybody who played for
Yes, and a
playing my
huge
game.
thank you to RossyDoesDrawings for the very,
Yeah.
very adorable goblin art that we have here on the screen, as well as these frames. You can check them out on Blue Sky at RossyDoesDrawings, and they are open for commission if you want to get your own goblin. Yeah. But that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you around, everyone. Bye.